On this edition of Just a Walk Thanks, episode 12, we talk about stallion parades. What do they do them? What do they mean? We look at Alabama Express. They've shut him off. It's Yulong's to do with what they want. We asked Butch about that. We look at the week that was with Mailbag Bloodstock, a big fat double on Monday, and our runners ahead across the weekend. At Mailbag Bloodstock, we are excited to offer you a really good value, low risk, spread your risk package for 4 2-year-old fillies. 3 of them are with the Hayes boys. A Maurice filly, an Alabama Express filly, and a Hanseatic filly. Plus, a Seamus Award filly with Gavin Bedgegood. We package them up with all 4, so you're going to get a heap of information every week on how they're going, where they're at. You're going to get a lot of excitement, and hopefully we're going to get a lot of fun at the races. On top of that, if you want to get involved today, I will give you a share in Rip Raw. Rip Raw was purchased last week off the English Digital and will be at the races next Wednesday. To find out more, contact Jono, Jono, at themailbag.com.au. Enjoy the show. G'day punters, welcome. Just a Walk, thanks. Episode 12, we're back. I think we had a week off. I'm not sure if we did or we didn't, but it was a week till the Olympics and we were very, very busy, particularly the eldest one here who was just writing home fucking bets left, right and centre. The lineup for today's show consists of Robert, James, Scurry, Robertos. The horses whisper to him and he sends it to you what they've said and you bet accordingly. Mickey Gannon, he's on every podcast in Australia, this one too. Butch Bourne, our head of basically head of Bloodstock here at Mailbag Bloodstock now, and of course the glue that holds us all together, Jay Rayner, who's had an enormous week off the track. You don't see this stuff at home, but he's been doing the big lift for the team, and we appreciate it. Jono, how are you traveling?
Yep, good, thank you. Not too much to add. I've been a bit sick, but I've got
What sort of like treatments have you done or things have you done to improve your physical health, or have you just decided to stubbornly ride it out?
yeah, I'm just riding it out. That's all right. I'm coming to the end of it naturally. I take some. I have a like those little vitamin C sort of lolly things. They're good. That's about it.
Butchie boy, great
Uh,
man. How are you?
Good, Nico. Stuck to the morning routine, so everything's good. As long as I do that, the day starts off well.
Mickey Gannon. Did you get yourself to Victoria last week?
Yeah, in and out really quickly. It's the quickest trip you've ever seen. Back home now, though. Thank God.
I'll turn it up. What were you down
So,
for?
what did they say to you when you got to the border?
I was down there for Mrs. Ann's 100th birthday, mate. So in and out.
Happy birthday.
Bloody cold
to her.
down there still. I tell you what, I went past Seymour. I saw Butcher's Palace, enormous. Didn't
Yeah,
even have to get off. Didn't even have to get off the freeway to see it.
Hopefully you didn't catch him doing his morning yoga on the balcony.
Boxing and
Apparently he
ice
doesn't wear a
bath.
lot of clothes when he does that.
yeah. That's mid morning routine. That's not the first. That's not when I get out of bed stuff. But I got to as soon as I get out of bed, I go and turn the power back on and the gas, and then I catch the birds and put them back in the cage, and then let the cats out of their cage. And then that sort of starts the day off pretty good. It takes me about half an hour to scroll through the CCTV from the night before. Then I'm on my way.
Rob Scurry, how's the battle been? And how much of the inquiry have you been streaming?
I have been watching a bit of it. I've enjoyed it. As a keen poker player, it's lovely to watch Richie Callender try and bluff. It looked like a bluff to me.
Allegedly.
But allegedly, obviously, as I said, I'm a keen poker player, and when someone gulps physically, you usually think that they might be full of it. It's a pretty straightforward question. I can remember everyone who's hired me in a job back to about since I was 18. Anyway, yes, I've been watching it, been discussing it on track. It is the word around town on track. The inquiry. Yeah, people love to chat about it. Us punters who are not important to the industry at all, despite funding it, which I thought was an interesting kind of opening statement from he who must be obeyed. But yeah, so just enjoying that. Going to the races has been good. I thought it was a pretty phenomenal set from me for a 2-unit win last week.
It was certainly a very PVL style opener, wasn't it? Like we talk about sort of playing the V, keep your elbow up, you know, play it safe early. He faced the first ball of the SCG test and just took a good step backwards, right behind him, showed all of his stumps, and just dispatched one over point into the.
There was a point there that I thought that he wasn't going to stop speaking, and he was going to take up the whole 45 minutes without anyone getting a question in. And he was going to do it. He was getting very close.
There's a word for that. It's called filibustering.
Is that what Donald does?
So they all do, all the best ones. Set the narrative.
Yeah.
Butch,
He
have
did
you
a
been
good job.
following along with the inquiry at all?
Yeah, I'm a follower of the great man Bren O'Brien, and he gives out some really good content. And he's not afraid to call a spade a spade. So I keep up with the inquiry via him, and it's been very. I don't look at it as intently as Rob and minute by minute, but can we just go back? I want to know what the first job he had when he was 18, and I would love to run through every employer that has ever given him a paycheck. If it's too long to do it now, maybe next episode, but that's something that really interests me.
Yeah, that's all right. Rob, what was your first job at 18, mate, and who hired you?
His name was Andrew. Andrew's Chicken Joint in Lawn, famous on the strip there. So probably still going. Had a good time. That I actually went back for the second summer. Actually, it was good times with the boys. Just making a few pizzas and sorting out the chickens out the back, and cash in hand kind of gig. That was the first job.
Wasn't that hard, was it?
Not that hard.
All right,
Butch?
let's straighten up. But actually, before we go, Butch, what was your first job?
My first job?
Yeah. And who hired you, though? Who hired you?
No, my first job was to. We used to have the outdoor toilet, with the cans and that, and so we used to have our job. My brother and I, shout out to Andrew, and Andrew and I used to carry. We used to get a handle each of the can when she was almost brimming full, and take her down the back paddock and tip it. That was one of our chores, and you no idea how fertile the tomatoes, pumpkins, and everything that grew down the back paddock. And so, probably my first venture into finance was to go out to the front gate on the road and sell all the produce, and which was quite lucrative, really. And then we sort of expanded on that, So, from little things, big things grow. And
shout out to Paul Kelly.
Yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what the song's based on. But anyway, those who've been around long enough to remember the outdoor toilet can remember those. That was part of it. So, actual paid job, geez, I can't remember. I don't. I think I had one job in my life, really, but I've been lucky enough to be self-employed for the majority of it. I think, unfortunately, this is year number 40 as being a licensed horse trainer. So I really haven't had to answer to too many people in the last 40 years.
Except your owners. And your owners are convening as we speak, Butch, to name the Churchill, soon to be gelding. I thought there were some really nice names put forward last night that you were sort of quick to sort of poo-poo.
I did a bit of research on the one you sent through, and I sort of it grew on me a little bit because I'm a great believer. I don't think I'm not a big fan of the horse's name that has any part of the Siren Dam in it. Like just using part of their names. I think people that do research and a good thread. So yeah, they what was he, a drinker of champagne, wasn't it?
Hmm.
He smoked 10 stogies a day, so I thought stogie would be a good name. And he washed them down with champagne, and his champagne of choice, Rob, was
Paul Roger, which has their top label is the Winston Churchill, which you can pick up for around $350 a bottle.
oh,
Yeah, when I originally read it, Rob. I thought, why would you call a horse Pole Roger? But I think you probably articulated it a bit better than I read it.
I read it as Pole Rage, so yeah, better than me.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, we won't lack any names as long as we use our imagination. We should come up with a few good ones.
so at the moment we've got Rob, say that name like correctly, please.
Paul Roger.
Paul Roger and Stogie for our Churchill.
Doggy.
If you've got a name that you think would suit the horse, make sure you put in the comments if you're catching this on X or Twitter or wherever you're getting it. The more the merrier. Um, we weren't so close there to having to edit it, but we think we've got John away from an edit just there. That's our Churchill being named. Let's stay on Bloodstock. Butch, stallion parades are a thing right now. It's stallion parade season, is it not? Why do they do them? What are they? Let's have a bit of insight into a stallion parade.
Yeah, well, I think originally a stallion parade was more based on your first season size. So because a lot of breeders emphasize type, so height, size, length, etc. Conformation. So the breeders would all pile up to the stud and have a look at this new stallion parade. And even though we've seen horses race, militarized animal, doesn't matter who they are, you may not have really had a good look at them. Someone like our horse whisperer Rob, he would be all over them because he would see a lot of them. But to see them in the flesh, especially when they, one of the terms that's often used is when they let down, which is probably the difference between me and you guys. And you become an old bull, and
Jano and Jono are sort of
you get
sorting
a bit,
which way they're about to go.
yeah, no, well, Rob and I are probably getting a bit cresty, that's the, little bit of a,
It's,
yeah. But yeah, sorry, Rob.
yeah, with that letting down, is thing I noticed about the stallions is the neck seems to get bigger.
Yeah, Chris.
It's
Yeah, that's you and me.
okay.
Yeah, they get a crest. Their neck, exactly. That's what they do. It develops, so it sort of goes in like a bow and arrow shape. Instead of being straight down to the wither from the pole, it becomes in that sort of that arc, and it just they develop that big heavy crest and once they get to it, once they've been at start for a few years, they can get quite heavy, which probably distorts what you're really trying to look at, when you're looking at shape. But so I think more so based on first season size, how tall is he? What's his length of hip, and has he got good bone, light bone, heavy bone? What angles on his pasterns? How big, long cannon bones, short cannons? Will it suit my mare? Oh, he'll suit this mare, not that mare. So that's all based on type, and then, of course, the other side of the analysis is the pedigrees. And there's a lot of pedigree analysis out there. There's probably a few that can narrow things down a bit for you, but I don't know of anyone that's actually conquered it yet. So the beauty of that is that we all have an opinion and no one's ever 100% right.
All right. On Monday, one of the great days all time, mailbag Bloodstock. Two runners, meant to be 3, but they got abandoned up there in Queensland, where we drew barrier 4 or 5.
7, wasn't it?
What?
I think it was barrier 7.
Yeah, 4 to 7's the grouse. So it was a great barrier. And now we've drawn 17 on Friday, which we'll get to later. But we had 2 runners, Rashiri, $5 into $2 on God's Plastic, the Pakenham Synthetic, 1400-meter maiden. What a win, John. Talk me through it.
Yeah, heavily backed, which sort of enhanced my confidence a bit. Obviously, we thought his first up run was pretty good, but he was paying 34 on that day. So to go from 34 to 2 between runs was a bit spooky. But yeah, at the turn, he couldn't have had more on, and down the straight, then he started to run about a bit. He did plenty wrong, but still got the job done. So don't think he's ever gone that fast in his life before, and that's possibly what made him run about.
It was a very nice win, an exciting horse. Very happy for the ownership group. Great job done by Reece Goodwin, and a really strong, brave, non-panicky ride from D Stackhouse, who will stick with him and will probably head to the races in 2.5 weeks. Stick to God's Plastic, and the question will be: is it 14 or 1600? And it was a bigger day, because we also had a winner at Nowra, which Mickey Gunnan got a shout out on racing.com, and then I think he also got a shout out on 528. Mickey, big day.
Yeah, big day in the Gannon household. We had a big party, Chinese meal to celebrate the double shout out. It doesn't happen very often. No, full credit to Beery and Lee McGorian. That first 150 metres of the race, it was all over. It just went forward, and they all got scared, didn't want to take him on, and switched him off. And he was good with 61.5 kilos. So we'll look for 1,800-metre race. They're pretty thin, those races at the moment. And hopefully, I think we'll see some improvement out of him. He'll go down in weight, get to 1,800 metres, and we'll just try and find a track once again, pick the eyes out of it that'll be suitable for that type of race pattern.
Rob Scurry, you're a big Gallop man. You like to watch him on TV and go, oh, he's a bit of a Flemington horse. He's a Valley horse. What's your read on Rashiri?
He's Japanese to start with, so that'll help Rob out.
Oh, yeah, already a little bit excited.
Yeah, look, I think every bit of him looks like a Flemington or Sandown. I wouldn't think Moonee Valley so much, but you can never be sure on these things. We're in this game, we're wrong more often than we're right. You just got to be right enough. I love the way he's got a big action. I love the way he let down. We picked him up for a song. What if we hypothetically would have put him on English Digital now? What do you reckon he'd go for, showing off those 2 runs? Could owners 3x their money?
Yeah, I'd say 50,000 would be about par for him, and then it's just about who wants him and who doesn't. And if there's 2 to 3 guys that are interested, or girls, it can sort of go stupid. It goes stupid all the time, and then every now and again, like last Wednesday, one slips right through. So, but yeah, we paid 20 for him. He's now won a little bit more than 20, I think, and he's obviously, he's pulled up really well from that, and he's favourite to win a hell of a lot more money. I think the way he won was really, really exciting. I actually thought he was a Moonee Valley horse, so that'll be one for us to debate later on, Rob. But I think if he can travel like he travels around a Moonee Valley tight sort of track, and just have to lengthen into the straight, then he's going to be pretty well placed and very hard to beat in the right grade.
Could cause some carnage laying in around that corner though. If he did that, but who's to say Reece will sort that out pretty quickly?
Have you had any experience with a horse like that, Butch, where he's
bit of a one-eyed blinker?
But like he presents as a 100% sound. They can't find an issue that's sort of a physical thing that's sort of saying, hey, that's sort of why he might be laying in like he is when he goes to let down. It just might be mental.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure of the history of the horse, and maybe none of us are. But if one thing about he's a 4-year-old now. How far he was left as a colt, I don't know, but it's almost that sort of those colts. They love to do that lay on other horses, you know. It's just something they love to do. So maybe it's just a stupid old habit that he had that he might get out of, and either that or they just love the rail, love the fence, and if he's in front on the corner at Moonee Valley over the mile and he's skipped away, then it won't matter, will it? He'll have the fence, he'll have the rail, he won't be able to lay on anything. He'll be able, it won't become an issue. Can I just pause for a second, go back to Mick and about his Chinese meal? Was it a succulent Chinese meal? Because we lost Jack Carlson last week. R.I.P. Jack. Democracy Manifest, which something that always makes me smile because I sold Democracy Manifest as a ready-to-run horse. But Mick, what was it? Number 49, number 52. What did we have?
Yeah, 49, 52, and 38. Bit of
the entrees. What'd you have for a main?
Bit of magnolia set up, bit of sizzling beef, and obviously the prawns to boot. Mrs. loves the fried rice. I'm more of a steamed operator. It doesn't show because she's skinny and I'm not. But yeah, dim sims for the kids. Away we go, Butchie.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. What about the do you like the deep fried, or do you just go for the black bean and veggies and stuff like that?
I mix it up. Usually after a win, just a bit of both. Like we've had a complete fill up. Did you see the betting move on that horse? I could have bought the Chinese joint.
You didn't get your Chinese from the fish and chip shop though, Matt.
Yeah, what's that? Never heard of this. So in New Zealand, they've got Chinese at fish and chip shops.
I'd say every single 95% of them would have.
Incredible stuff.
White Kiwis, unbelievable.
There's a good place, Jono. I don't know if you've ever been there. I used to stay out at Cully, and there's a nice Chinese joint there down the main street, just which is only a 20-minute drive to the Karaka Sales. So the locals call it the chew and spew, but I found it pretty. I didn't have an issue with it. Mind you, that not much comes up that goes down in here, but they family call me Iron Guts or something. I don't know, but. Anyway, poor old Jack, we lost him last week. He's Darren Flindell's got a bit of mileage out of that, hasn't he?
Old Dazzler.
Yeah. Talk about being able to thread something through. That was that was about that. I actually watched that race, because it came up on the feed, so I'd sort of logged in and watched it. But God, they went slow, didn't they? He just controlled the race. So that he's good. It was a good ride. That bloke was he. That was the instruction. He was very positive.
Yeah, the instruction was be very nice and aggressive early. There's 3 turns at Nowra. Sort of just this kind of track where if you're positive early, they'll leave you alone. There's no real position where where they're going to really take you on, and there's just a low sort of grade of race anyway. Butch. So look, it all panned out. It was well planned, well panned out, and really good ride late as well. Hands and heels. I don't know where they go. I don't know where we go with him. 1800 meters, I think, is going to be ideal. I hope, I pray.
Lee McGorian was suggesting Canterbury Friday night for him.
Yeah, Barry kind of poured a bit of cold water on that straight away. He said, mate, just steady on.
We're at Nowra on a Monday. That's what he told him.
We are at Nowra on a Monday, so let's just do one step at a time.
A lot of yo-yo for the owners.
But he does, yeah, real yo-yo. But look, he does settle well. So to be, you don't see them really get pushed out and then settle as well as he did straight away. So that's I don't know, Rob. Any thoughts on that horse? You reckon from what you saw, you could get out a bit further?
Not sure. Never seen him in the flesh. But yeah, Canterbury, that's a bit similar, sort of a bit like Moonee Valley, sort of racing to one turn, another turn. It's a bit of an on pace track. So at least
bit of rain. Canterbury.
Think positive.
The horse has done a job for us now. I think we paid 13 for him, and he would have won a fair bit more than that already. So, you know,
So,
if the
about
rain
40 or
returns
something,
to
yeah.
Sydney, maybe we do look at Canterbury Friday night.
Well, Beery did suggest, he goes, here's a pin code, go fill up the truck and you can drive him up, no problem. So away we go. John can strap him.
Yeah, who's going to strap him?
That'll be the day. Jeez.
Gentlemen, what about this news on Alabama Express?
Yeah, talk us through this, Butch.
As in closed book.
Yep.
Look.
Does it happen often as well?
No, but it's not. It's look. I mean, so kudos to those people who go out and purchase these horses and stand them at stud and are lucky enough to where some of the most successful stallions just come from left field. So I know there's a lot of money invested through yearling sales and that trying to identify horses, but some of our best ones, I'm invincible on that. They're complete left fielders, and so well done to these guys that bought Alabama. They bought Grant. I think they kicked off at the same time. They're well and truly in the stallion market now, Yulong, and I mean the amount of mares they purchase. It doesn't surprise me that if they wanted to, they could stand some of these horses privately. So they own it. They can do what they like with it. So anyone that's actually got one and one that looks like half a decent animal should be pretty happy about that, I would say, because they're going to become like hen's teeth. Yeah. Anyway, how's your parenting going, Jack? All right. Yeah.
Damn right.
Who are we giving a shout out to here? Go on, name names.
Das is rolled
Darcy's
in.
on.
Wants
Yeah.
to know when we're going for our bike
He's
ride
rolled into
before
the office,
Sandown
has he?
kicks off. Yeah. Got his wristbands on. He's got a lightning bolt inside of his head.
Yeah.
He's fired up to watch some UFC on Sunday.
Does that make him faster, the lightning bolt? That's the theory behind that.
Eating his dinner makes him really fast.
Yeah.
Especially his vegetables.
Anyway, that's the they own him. They've got mares coming out their ears. They can do what they like with him. So yeah, I'm not. I haven't spoken to anyone there. There's a few guys in the camp that I know well. I don't know what the future's going to hold, like as in this season, next season, etc. But I couldn't see them like locking him completely down. I couldn't see that happening.
But essentially, they're so happy with what he's done early on in his career as a stallion that they've decided to corner the market and present those horses at the sales under their own.
Yeah, I think because normally they'd be outsourcing as well. Like they buy a lot of mares and they can't all go to what they've got. So I'd say that if he was standing somewhere else, they'd want to send a heap of mares to him. So they do own the horse themselves. So yeah, absolutely, yeah.
The Olympic Games wrapped up last week on Sunday. Who would have thought that a breakdancer would take over and become the biggest thing just about at the Olympics as we finish it up? Ray Gunn, 36-year-old doctor, she did it her way. They closed the closing ceremony with "I did it my way," and that's what Ray Gunn did. And her Olympic debut, the debut of the breakdancing, and essentially, I think probably the final time we'll ever see breaking at the Olympics.
Hope so.
I thought that she was an outstanding representation of our country. She was rare as it gets. She did it, you do you, and she had a crack, and it wasn't everyone's cup of tea, but it was hers. And
well, it wasn't the judges.
Yeah,
She
or
didn't get a point.
breakdancing. Yeah. It's like fashions on the field at the races. Who cares, really? But,
Well, it's the Olympic Games, Jack.
Yeah, it's about revenue, though. What would PBL have done?
St. Richie.
It's a marketer's dream, like something like that, isn't it? I mean,
well, breakdancing has like legitimately as weird as it was and as rare as it was, has it not, Mickey Gannon, moved the needle at the Paris Olympics?
Most definitely moved the needle in the wrong direction. Nobody likes it at all now. It's cast. Nobody will be sending their kids to breakdancing lessons after seeing that. I won't be.
Or were you planning on doing it, Luke? You were thinking about, hey, babe, what I'm thinking is we'll get him into breaking. Like,
well, 36. I figure I'm only I'm like Brisbane Olympics not too far away. I might make a debut at 44 and pull out some of those moves. Fair.
I thought she was outstanding. And
there's some good performances though, Jack.
If there's any young blokes out there who love their Bloodstock and their betting and are listening and also play a bit of footy, you need to think long and hard. But just the Olympics has presented some of the great opportunities for your Mad Monday kit. You've got ray gun, you've got hockey roos. Like, I don't know how or what we can say about that, but
I was going to go as a French pole vaulter.
Except for one thing, Mick.
I don't have the 4 meter pole, Butch.
The pole Roger.
They should actually make up a different class for him, shouldn't they?
Jack, you normally ask me how the Kiwis are going on the medal tally.
Now
that we've come to the end.
If you give it to per capita, I don't want to hear it.
They hit the one pretty hard.
Wow, how many times have I seen on Twitter this week about Australia per capita? Well, guess we fucking cream you per capita. 260.
What events? Talk to me about the events first, though.
A lot of rowing, or canoeing rather. So Lisa Carrington, who I think is our most decorated Olympian of all time.
Yep.
She got 3. So she got the K1, K2, and K4. We had a bit of cycling, the indoor cycling.
The velodrome.
Lydia Ko, golf. What else did we have? Rugby sevens, high jump. We won the men's high jump.
The guy who ran through on his first attempt just ran straight through the gate.
Yeah, he's a bit of a strange bloke, but that's
high jumper.
Anyway, 1 medal per 266,000 for us.
How many per sheep, Jono?
How many gold? Is that gold?
That's all medals, but gold medals per capita, we're third in the world. 1 gold per 533,000.
And where's Australia sit?
1.5 mil.
Who's first on that list?
Dominica.
So basically, you can sort of say 1 gold per 1 million Anzacs. We embrace you as our own, and it was a phenomenal result overall by the Anzacs at the Paris Games. We cover off like our bets that we had early on? Have we done a podcast since?
No.
Hey, can we just pause for a second, Jono?
Hello.
I've got a question for you. If New Zealand were to have the Olympics and host them, and they were able to put that novelty event on, like, what would it be, and would it have anything to do with sheep?
Wow, yeah. Because of Mick's question, it probably is sharing sheep.
Sharing sheep.
Sharing. S-A-E-A.
Shearing, not sharing them if you're playing home. Shearing, like cutting them, clipping them.
Otherwise, probably, maybe not rugby union anymore. We lost to Argentina on the weekend, so All Blacks might be done and dusted.
Sales would be up over there. You'd be able to market everything, wouldn't you? A bit of the Kiwi aftershave, the mint sauce.
It's not something I get into, but
just a bit of a splash here and there, mate, just to attract whoever's coming your way. But anyway, that we'll go back to, because Jono gave us out one of the best tips of all time from a left field event. Jono, run us through that.
Jakob Schubert, the Austrian rock climber, finished in third, I think, didn't he?
Podium finish.
Yeah, for the each way punters. I had a email from one of our Bloodstock clients. He was thrilled with the result. So no.
So good.
Great for Jakob. Great for all involved.
I had a real roller coaster of emotions. I woke up to seeing that Manon Vestra had run second at $34 and $61 in the BMX women's, and which was gutting, but she lost to an Australian, so with a phenomenal story. So
Something.
yeah, something there for the H-way. The H-way punter, I think, left really happy. Unfortunately, that's not me, but
Didn't Butch do you have a winner?
Yeah, we got on the podium in the men's show jumping. We had a bit of a play on three of them, but we managed to get a medal with the fellow that I can't pronounce his name. Starts with S, but comes from one of those countries. I'm actually frantically trying to look it up at the moment.
Look in the bet slip, mate.
Yeah.
I'll be a camper shut down.
He was part of the. God bless the Olympic Games. What a fantastic result.
When you say one of those countries, like one of the ones that were at the Olympics, or what's the?
Yeah, I don't know. It all like half sounds racist, doesn't it? But yeah, but it's just a lack of memory. It's all right. I'm in that phase of life now. So, yeah. What was the fella's name? I don't know. I had a bit going on at the Olympic Games, and which was very lucrative, but finished in the women's weightlifting, which we missed out on, which would have got us over the line for a very good multi. But the woman, I can't think of her name, Anabolic, or I can't remember what her name was. One of those.
Hero Week, try the veal. Rob, what were your highlights from the games outside of just from a pure sport patriotic
Mate,
point of view?
I barely watched it, to be honest. I couldn't be asked with the Channel 9 logging in. It's just like, what's the password? I don't know. I went over to the mate's house and watched a bit of the swimming, which is, without Rabs Warren, I thought was dull as.
I love Thorpe. I love Thorpe. He's like just teaching about underwater work and what they're doing on the
Thorpe was in
turns
so much strife. He was just fumbling and mumbling.
Oh,
He looked like the old Richie at the inquiry. He was in.
Talking about fumbling and mumbling, so they lobbed back in this morning a bit of gold live TV. They're all in the hangar coming off the plane, and what's his name, Carl Stefanovic and Sarah, he's offside. Sarah, is it Sarah Abo or whatever her name is? She does a good job anyway. She's very presentable, and he's got the big fella there, Matt Denny, the big discus thrower.
Oh, from Toowoomba.
Oh, he's a massive man. He's got the wife there with him, and Sarah's chimed in with the he's back home now. The Olympics are all over. What's the first thing you're going to do? And they sort of stare at each other. And I've looked at her and I'm thinking to myself, I remember that look. And it was just a very awkward moment because you knew exactly what they were both thinking. And then they cut back to Carl, and Carl says, that was a very leading question, Sarah. It was just, you should have seen the big fella. He looked like he was going to eat like a bowl of mince or something, the way he was staring down at her. But it was quite, you can't beat the live TV, can you?
Or a live podcast where we've lost Jack.
Thanks.
Well, he's on today, the big fella. Butch, what were your highlights outside of big Matt Denny looking at his missus like a bowl of mince?
Even though I was trying to get the girl with the powerful legs home in the put BMXing, that was a great story. Our girl that won that, the history, the brother, came back from a terrible accident, and that, there's so many things. There was just 18 golds, there's 18 stories, and even going back to the big fella we just spoke about, he got the bronze. He's been chipping away there a few times trying to do that, and he's talking about going back for the gold. And but we're just, how dominant are we in like women's swimming? Like we're just it's just another level, isn't it?
Mm.
You know?
It's interesting. I heard the other day the missile talking about the contracts and like the top tier contracts, $20,000 from Australia. So these people are sacrificing so much to get to the top, and naturally you get to the top and they're going to get sponsorships, right? But if you don't get to the top, geez, there's not many sports like it where you're getting paid next to nothing.
It's I think it's really exciting though in that regard because we've got Brisbane in 8 years, which you'd anticipate gets good funding for athletes to perform in 8 years, and that would start from now. We've got an inspired country of like young people who saw success. I think it bodes well for a really good sort of stretch of 8 to 16 years of Australian high level performance at
I've
the
got,
Olympic Games.
I've got two girls in his household that haven't missed a session since the swimming, and yeah, spot on. Very much inspired.
All right, we'll
Young
finish off
cool.
with what's ahead for us this week and next week, John. We've got at this stage Mr. Tadashi running Friday up in Queensland. Talk us through it.
Yep. He, as we mentioned, he was meant to run at Bow Desert on Monday, which got abandoned after a couple of races there. So he late nominated for Ipswich on Friday, which I see Ipswich today has been abandoned. So possibly a query on going ahead on Friday as well.
Setback.
But another setback, just to add to it, he has drawn 14 of 16. So a couple of questions whether he starts there on Friday. Danustar Saturday at either Rose Hill or in Victoria. Where are we? Caulfield. And Until Valhalla has also accepted on Saturday at Rose Hill.
And the return of our king, Keatsy boy, jumped out on Monday at Cranbourne, went really, really well. Jala Kennedy goes on. We head to a benchmark 100 over the mile at Caulfield on Saturday. So the big boy is back. We expect him to have a really nice preparation. And the horse we purchased, John, on last Wednesday, we expect to kick off in 7 days. That's Rip Raw. Should be running on the God's Carpet Sandown next Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. As we spoke about at the start of the podcast, that's our package that we've just released for our 4 2-year-old fillies with the Hayes boys and Gavin Bedgegood. Plus, you could get into Rip Raw if you are interested. If you are, contact Jono, Jono, at themailbag.com.au. I hope you enjoyed the show. Have a phenomenal week. Boys, anything else to add before we go?
No.
That's us. Ball.
Oh.
Yeah, go Butchie.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say the Swans. Can we talk about the cheating of the umpires in the last quarter to get the Swans over the line? The AFL.
Righto, Craig.
Home ground advantage for the umpires.
We need to get a tip out. Do we have a tip for an early play for the weekend, Joe?
No, I haven't seen Fields. Sorry.
I'll throw one out at you. Rosebud, I thought Tarpaulin is most definitely the horse to beat. I'm not sure what price you're going to get, but you got Shanghai Express coming back, Gatsby's coming back, some big spruikers, high octane. I think Tarpaulin's up and will relish the rain affected track. I think it'll win. I'm not sure what price you get, but I think you'll get one.
I think Until Valhalla will run really well. The Nuster's going super, and Keats, we're really happy with him. And obviously, he's first up. He'll improve on whatever he does, but you'd anticipate he's quite competitive, particularly with Jayla Kennedy on. We get down in the weights, and I think she's a really good rider of that type of horse. But yeah, that's our tips for the weekend. We'll quickly do AFL then, and the Swans are back. One of the most famous wins all time. All the big players stepped up and delivered in the last quarter. They just out toughed them. They outrun them. The wheels fell off Collingwood. I know some older people sort of blaming umpires. I'm starting to sort of learn that some people have a bit of an obsession with umpires and can sort of really throw the toys out of the cot from time to time. It also seems to correlate with their second team shitting the bed, which has been going on for about 6 or 8 weeks. I think Essendon were third about 2 months ago. Now they're 12th. So you can understand that there's a bit of vitriol and a bit of just disappointment. And sometimes, we can aim that at the wrong place. But I thought the Swans were brave. I thought they were really good. And it really bodes well for a strong finish to the season. They take on Essendon Friday night, where they're probably $1.25. And that's probably overs, Butch.
When you were putting this package together, Jack, did you think about maybe giving it the name the Stringer? The package.
Oh, so we could burn Zachy Merritt when the game's on the line.
Yeah, yeah. Well, funny you mentioned that to me, and it was highlighted, through the analysts all week. And yeah, there was a little bit of a show of hands, like, what about me? Yeah.
And Jack, what about on Thursday night on your special podcast? What did I say Hawthorn would do to Carlton? I said they'd destroy them.
Yeah.
What happened? So you're not just racing tips on the Thursday night. $8 about the plus 39.5.
Yeah. No, Hawthorn do look pretty good, but they're gonna have to win.
What if I told
Keep
you?
on winning.
What if I told you currently the Swans against the Bombers on Friday night are $1.60?
That's a gift.
Is that your anchor for your multi for the weekend?
Well, it should be, but there's always enough riding on a result for the Swans as it is that sometimes I choose not to add, to the potential pain should catastrophe strike. But you'd anticipate that the boys bounce off a really good win, have a lovely little away trip as a group. The final time, potentially, most likely, the market would tell you, it would be the last time they get in a plane to go and play footy until they're rolling down in the last weekend of September. So, they'll enjoy the trip, and they'll go back to Sydney and they'll have 3 more games at home. That's the last round of the season, the first final, and then the prelim.
And
Rob, what about the Hawks? Do you think that the Hawks fear anyone?
no, just themselves taking the foot off the pedal. That's our biggest issue. It happened against Port Adelaide. It happened against GWS. If we play our brand, our quick ball movement, our fearless, I think we can outrun any team. There's no ceiling on guys like that 23, that Weddle. He might be, who would you rather, him or Nick Blakey? I think it's Weddle now. They're both similar styles of play, but yeah, Weddle.
Oh, God. It's
100%.
It's one thing to perform when there's zero pressure on you of expectation. You just beat a depleted, rudderless Carlton. You got 2 non-sting games coming up. You're going to roll into a massive final. Talk to me after you win your first final.
Yeah, well, and if we do, look out. I think it's up for grabs, as everyone keeps saying. Last week it was Brisbane with the favourites. Now Swans are somehow favourites after their unbelievably average performance. They just about got rolled by a average team in Collingwood, which Hawthorn destroyed by 12 goals. It's up for grabs. Even old, been there, done that Geelong, I hate to say it, but there's some sort of chance.
Oh, they're a massive chance. They're a professional football club. They've got all their shit together. They'll be very hard to beat in any game. The Giants, I think, are flying. They destroyed Brisbane. They were so tough and so relentless at the contest. But the Lions will bounce back. Port, low-key, ticking over. I think where you finish will play a big role because you've got Sydney, Geelong, Brisbane, Port. There's a big way to travel for the home finals for the big top 4 sides or the Giants. So hopefully we see 4 finals in Sydney and the Sydney teams win them all, and we all have to take all of Sydney to Melbourne to put on a grand final for the Victorians. I think that's what's going to happen, and I can't wait. Look, that's been the Just a Walk, thanks, episode 12, John. I hope you really, really enjoyed the show. Again, we mentioned a really exciting package at the start of the show. You can get involved by contacting Jono, Jono, Jono at themailbag.com.au. On top of that, we gift you a share in Rip Raw, who will be at the races Wednesday, God's Carpet, Sandown. Have a great week. Bye for now.